Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be ranking every Pokemon VMAX with an asterisk. Yeah, this is a tier list. I was looking at Tier Maker for video ideas, and I saw this one ranking all VMAXs, which I thought was a really cool video idea. And VMAXs are kind of cool, and also most of them are not in format, and so we know how good they have been, and so that's pretty cool. And also there are 85, and I was like, okay, is this all of them? So I looked at the website Limitless and looked at all the VMAXs and there's 86. So it is missing one. And looking through this, I believe that is Pikachu VMAX. I think there's actually two different Pikachu VMAXs. There's this one, which is the better one, and then okay, there's kind of four. There's Flying Pikachu, there's Surfing Pikachu, and there's two regular Pikachu VMAXs. Um, but anyways, that doesn't really matter. It's not that good, and it doesn't really need to be ranked. It'll probably go near the lower end. But also, the way this tier list is made, it's S tier, which is kind of weird why it's called S tier because all the other ones are numbered. So we have 2 through 10, and then by 10s all the way through 80, but then it's 81 through 85, rounding out the rest of them. So I will be putting them into the tier list, but of course I will probably be, I haven't planned this out yet, so I'll probably be moving them around. And I guess this is going to be a full ranking. But I'm trying not to make try not to make it too long, especially with the more boring VMAXs. So this is more of a train of thought, like stream of consciousness style video. But let's just hop right into it with Hadreen VMAX. This one's currently in standard, and it's not in alphabetical order. I think most of them are, but this one isn't. So Hadwin VMAX is it like moves damage. It's kind of like Monkey Dory actually in standard, but one I think it's a little worse. You don't need energy, but it's a evolution 3 prizer. Its attack I think confuses or something. I don't really remember to be honest. But I remember it's not that good. So I'll put it in 51 through 60. That seems about fair. Maybe, no, I'll do 61 through 70. Somewhere in this range, I feel like will be fair for it. Aegislash VMAX is really interesting. I will be mentioning the Pokemon Vs where they are relevant, and Aegislash V. VMAX is one of the ones where the V is probably better than the VMAX. The VMAX is an okay attacker. I believe it does more damage as time goes on, though I don't remember the exact damage. It might be 150 plus 30 per, but that could be wrong. It might be 120 plus 30 per. But again, that might be wrong. So it's okay. It's certainly not bad. And then the V is good, but I'm not going to say it's good because the V is good. I saw more play because of the V, but a lot of decks just play the V, so that's not really going to help it out here. So I think it's going to end up in like 41 through 50, right in the middle here. Is that the middle? Two, three, four, one. That's around the middle. I'll leave it here. This seems fine. It's certainly not a bad VMAX, but you could argue it's a bad VMAX, but it was okay. Aggron VMAX is really weird. Fundamentally, I don't think it's a very good card. I think it's pretty terrible, but it did actually see some competitive play with Arceus V-Star. A lot of these saw play with Arceus V-Star. Um, or at least, yeah, I saw some play. And this is another one that did. I don't think it's that good though. I don't even know where I'd put it like at all. I'll put it in 41 through 50. I'll put it behind Aegislash VMAX because I don't think it's as good. I think it's a really terrible card, but it saw play if we go to it. That's not the right tier list. So Aggron VMAX here, it saw play with Arceus V-Star. So yeah, I'll leave it here at the 41 through 50, but we'll see where I end up settling on putting it. Alchemy VMAX is pretty interesting. It was good with Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, which we'll talk about later. Fundamentally, I think it's an okay VMAX. It's kind of like Chien-Pao EX, but it's a VMAX, and it's a little different in terms of how it was used. But I'll put it in 31 through 40. Oops, there we go. I don't think it's a bad VMAX by any means. I think it was really powerful at one point, but it was also powerful because of another card, not really in its own right. So, I think that holds it back some. Also, I'm going to move Aggron down. I don't think it's that good, but I can't really put it lower than this either. Blastoise VMAX. I have no idea where to put this, to be honest. It's a water VMAX. There's a bunch of these. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of every type, but except for Dragon, there's not a lot of those. But um, there's a lot of like generic, somewhat spread-based water VMAXs. It had 2 attacks. Its second attack was spread, but not super strong spread. And then its first attack powered up Pokemon, but it's 3 energy on essentially a stage 1. So that is like not super efficient, or it's not really efficient at all. And its damage output was mediocre, kind of bad to be honest. But Blastoise VMAX, not particularly good. I'll put it in the 61 through 70. I think it's similar level to Hatterene VMAX. Blaziken VMAX, really fun VMAX. Saw play with. Did it see play in the Limitless database? I want to check. A little bit. You could play it with. I mean, accelerates energy to Rapid Strike Pokemon, including special energy like Rapid Strike Energy. And it can use Rapid Strike Energy for its second attack, which is the main one, or really the only one that you'd ever really be using. And it's not a bad VMAX, but it's not the best one either. But I'll put in 31 through 40. I think that's fair. Uncommon Fossil, who I do a podcast with, likes this card a lot, so I'll put it here. And yeah. Oh, also subscribe if you like the content. And comment down below your thoughts on the VMAXs because I do this from time to time and my opinions change over time. So it's interesting to see how much they change. I don't remember when I last did this. It wasn't super recently, but it wasn't that long ago either. But tell me what you think if you wanted to see me rank other things as well because I'm going to rank other Pokemon. But Bolt-on VMAX is so this is another case. Bolt-on V was really good. This I'll play with Arceus. I'll put it in 41 through 50. It's better than Aegislash and better than Aggron, I think. It could end up being moved up, but that's fine. Butterfree VMAX, I don't really remember. It did like some. Oh, oops, I moved a card. Moderate amount of damage, but it wasn't that good. And then it did special conditions. I'm going to put this one in 71 through 80. It's not very good. I might even move down, but there are some really bad ones. But it's pretty bad. Did it have free retreat? It did, but it's still not. It's still pretty bad. Oh, and it's 300 HP. Yes, that's rough. So I mean, realistically, no, it's pretty bad. Celebi VMAX is one of my favorite VMAXs. It's a grass VMAX, and it's kind of fun. It like heals and it stretches for Pokemon. It's a weird card. I think it really belongs in the 51 through 60 category below Aggron. It's not that interesting, to be honest. It was fun for me, but I don't think most people find it fun. So the Scorch VMAX is really great with Welder. Fundamentally, with Welder out of the format, it was pretty bad. Eventually, it saw a little bit of play with either Arceus V-Store and or Magma Basin, but that was still pretty rough for it. But it's not a bad card. I mean, there was water stuff that was really good as well, and it's Fire 3-prizer, so it's just going to get one-shotted by water VMAXs and stuff like that. So I think that hurt it a lot, but fundamentally it's not a bad card either. Next we got Chandelure VMAX. What's the ability? Does it do like something with tools? Sorry, I need to double check. Is it return a tool to their hand? Oh no, it stops them from playing tools if it's in the active spot. So that's kind of interesting. And then it does damage for each trainer in their hand, but it's not that good. I guess it's gonna end up in the 61 through 70. Gonna go below these two. Charizard VMAX, another one kind of like Aggron VMAX. I'll put it actually right below it, right here. I don't know. Charizard VMAX isn't that good. There's a V-Star, which is okay, and it saw a little bit of play there with the Arceus, but I do think it's worse than Aggron. Although they both have 5 energy attacks that do big damage, but I do think Aggron was better, had more versatility, and so I think that was better. Aggron VMAX had versatility because you could use Memory Capsule, copy the V, which was pretty solid. Cinderace VMAX, I'd say it's kind of like Scorch VMAX. It was paired with Welder. It's more well-rounded, but lower power. I'll put it in the 41 through 50, somewhere in the middle here, as I think it's a pretty solid VMAX. It's able to hit pretty decent damage, but in its own right, it's not particularly special, particularly great. It saw a little bit of play, I think, near the end of its when it was in format, I guess. I don't remember too much about it. It's a somewhat generic VMAX, but it was kind of fun, kind of all right. I forgot there was 2 Cinderaces. There's a single strike one. This one's going here. I don't remember what it does, but I remember it's really expensive and you can't power it up like ever, so it's real bad. I'll put it in actually the very bottom. I think it's pretty terrible. Its upside is not that good, and I don't remember what it does exactly. Colossal VMAX. People always say there's a joke. Oh, it's a colossal flop, but it's not that bad. I'll put it 31 through 40. It's okay. It saw a little bit of play. It's interesting in Japan. It saw more play because Japan has a different format than internationally, or it did. Really, it's pretty much the same now, but in the past it was like completely different, essentially. So it just was better. But yeah, it's not a terrible VMAX by any means. I think it's over. Like people say it's really bad, but it's not that bad. Paparaja VMAX. I don't really remember this VMAX much at all. I'll put in 71 through 80. If I don't remember it, it can't be really good because I know like pretty much all of them on here. Corviknight VMAX, interesting one paired with Bronzong and some stuff. I'll put it near the top of like the 40s because it was kind of interesting. You could pair it with Arceus. You could pair it with there's this like weird control deck involving the V and the VMAX and some stuff going on there. We use Memory Capsule to copy the V, but it is a little weird. And it wasn't that good. It was a very strange deck, but not a bad card really by any means. And saw some play, and it was pretty fun. I guess. I mean, it's control, so it wasn't super fun, but I don't know. Control or stall, there's some different ways. Pokemon VMAX, this is the ultimate coin flip card. It's, I think, 80 for each heads, and was played with Porygon Z or some other ways, but Porygon Z was the main one, and it was okay. I guess I'll put it in the top of the 50s because I don't know. It's a weird card. I don't really know what to do with this card because it's so random. And you had the V, which was super good. Like Kermit V was probably one of the best Pokemon. I was gonna say best Pokemon Vs ever, like basics. I don't know if that's really true, but it was really good. It had a snipe-based attack that was really strong, and then it had a surge attack that was also really solid. But Kermit V Max it's okay, I guess. Also was weak to lightning, which is like really good. With Pikachu and Zekrom and some other stuff, which was not good for it. Crobat VMAX is a really weird card to talk about. It had an amazing V. That is definitely one of the best Pokemon Vs ever. And Crobat VMAX I'll play literally just because it evolved from it, and so it like would fix certain math and stuff like that. So I'll play for other reasons, but it was partially just that. And because it just evolved, it was kind of weird. But yeah, I do think that Crobat VMAX is an okay VMAX, but I'll put it in the 50s here. I don't think it's that good. Yeah, I realize that this tier list is not like even at all, so hopefully it'll fix itself later. Um, let's see, we got Deoxys VMAX. This one's kind of bad. It's a defensive one, but it's not that good. It came out really late, so it's still in format, but it's not that good. I'll put it, I guess, here at the top of the 70s. Delmize VMAX, pretty interesting one. Probably the best grass VMAX, to be honest. Uncommon Fossil loves this. I don't think it's that good, but it's probably top of the 40s or like here. It's between Corviknight and Boltund. I'll put it there. It's like Snipe and stuff. It's not that interesting, to be honest, but it was okay. It was Rillaboom, which accelerated, so you could do some stuff. Ditto VMAX. This one's really fun, really versatile. It essentially it copies your opponent's active, but then I guess it's versatile because of Ditto V. So realistically, it's probably in here in like the low 60s. That seems pretty fair. Dracozolt VMAX, this one's really interesting. Honestly, it's probably the best one we've seen so far. You'd literally just play a 4/4 line of this and just like stick it in the active and kind of leave it there. Also, I decided I'm going to move Scorch up. I didn't really play Scorch like at all, but it was pretty good. With Welder, it was kind of insane. So Dracozolt VMAX for a year, the Welder rotated, Water became good. That was bad, but it was still really solid. And then Dracozolt VMAX, yeah, you're just taking the active. It's really annoying. You'd like heal loop and stuff, but it was pretty good. Dragapult VMAX is certainly going to go in the top 10 and not number one, but really solid. If you play Dragapult EX, it's a little different. It's essentially a stage one, has lower damage output, singular energy typing. It's two psychic, so it's different. But Dragapult VMAX is certainly a really great VMAX and one of the most defining VMAXs, if not the most defining VMAX ever. Excuse me, ever, because it was really the first dominant VMAX. So the Draldon VMAX, really solid one. I think it'll end up in the top 20 here. It walls off Pokemon with special energy attached. If you look at Lugia Archeops, that's literally all special energy, so it was essentially just an auto win. And then Mew VMAX, which we'll talk about later, was a really solid deck. It helped out by certain supporting pieces, but it was really good. And just walled it off. And there are other special energy decks, or decks that played some special energy, and this was just insane. And it went later with Arceus V-Star. It was really solid in its own right as well. It's just a tank. Then we come to Dreadnought VMAX's cards. Well, dreadful. It's really bad. I guess it's better than Cinderace. You can power it up easier. And it's probably better than Butterfree, to be honest. But I'll put it here. I'm going to move Butterfree down here as well. And nothing really interesting. It's pretty tanky, but it also was the Pikarom era, Pikachu and Zekrom, which just one-shotted it, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not quite, but it was a basic, and this is a stage one, and yeah, trust me, this card is not good. I'll move it up one. So EV Max, ooh, this card's bad. I guess I'll put it here. It's a really generic VMAX that's not very good. Then we come to SB on VMAX system's pretty interesting, pretty versatile. It would protect you against effective attacks and had an attack that punished Arceus V-Star really. And you play it in Arceus. It was really interesting. I'll put it in 21 through 30. I think it's a VMAX I'm a big fan of. Actually, I'm definitely putting it up too high. I'll put it up here in the 30s, but it's not a bad VMAX. I think it's a really solid one. It's one I'm actually really interested in hearing what your thoughts are on it, where it should put it, because it's one you could really move around a lot of different spots, because it's so versatile, but so like it's not that powerful in its own right either. Eternus VMAX though is very powerful. This card is really good. I'll put it here on 2 through 10. It's probably going to be like 2. I would not be shocked if I put it there. A really powerful VMAX. This was probably the most impactful VMAX. It came out right after Dragapult. It just obliterated it, and it was really good. It just raw power. Trap Ghost EX is coming out soon-ish, and it might be like 3 or 4 months. I think it's 4 months, but that's fine. Trap Ghost EX though is like Eternus VMAX. It's a little they're different, but there's clear inspiration and yeah, Eternus VMAX really powerful. It just one-shot everything and was not that hard to power up and had a decent engine and stuff. It fell off later on, but it was still pretty good. Appleton VMAX, I think. No, is this Flapple VMAX? I think it's Flapple VMAX. Let me just double check. So yeah, it is Flapple VMAX. So Flapple VMAX is not that good. I'll put it in the 70s. It's just not that good. There's not too much to say about it. So then we have Flareon VMAX, a weird card. You mill cards from the top of your deck, but it's almost impossible to power up, and it's like so bad. I mean, it's just really bad. Because you mill yourself, but it has some damage potential, so I guess it's going. It'll be at the top of the 70s. Still pretty bad though. Then Flying Pikachu VMAX, the card, it won the World Championships. That's what it's going to be known for, probably forever. Kind of like a Mega Auto. It's not really that good or interesting, but it's like funny. It walls basics, and it's an okay card. I mean, I'll put it in the 30s here, or 20s, I guess. Hit like decent weakness and stuff, but the big thing, it just walls basics. Solid piece in Arceus V-Star. Then Galarian Darmanitan VMAX, I'll put it right next to Blastoise VMAX. I'll put it right above it. I think it's a little better. I honestly don't remember what they both do. And I'll put it below to generic Water VMAX. It also is weak to Metal, which is pretty rough. Zacian V was better than Pikachu and Zekrom, and so you just get rolled over. This is Galarian Slowking VMAX. It's yeah, I don't really remember much about this. I mean, I know it's like Poison, Single Strike, and stuff, but it's not very good. I don't think it ever saw play because it's bad. So I'll put it at the top of the 70s. I mean, it's not the worst card ever, but it's pretty bad. I'll put it below Flareon. Garbodor VMAX. I have a story to share about this card at some point, but not right now. It's bad. You can attach 2 tools, but it's not very good. I think there was some funny stuff you could do with it, and it was actually glitched, but I'll put it at the top of the 70s. Nodwar VMAX, incredibly mid VMAX. There's nothing really to say about this card. It's like so mediocre. It's not that bad, but I'll put it here in like the 60s. Then we have Gengar VMAX here with it was a single strike VMAX. It's pretty solid, to be honest. It was probably the best single strike VMAX in its own right. I'll end it up. I'm going to put it below Duraludon, but the best single strike VMAX is like a single strike attacker. It'll end up behind these two though, in the top 20, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Glaceon VMAX, Walls VMAX is a pretty good card. I think a little underrated. Didn't really see much play, so I guess I'll end up putting it here in the 40s. I don't think it's bad. No, I'll put it in the 30s. I think it's an okay VMAX. I'll actually put it above Colossal, below Blaziken. Yeah, it just Walls VMAX. And it has a spread attack yet again as a water attacker in VMAX. This is a green VMAX. There's some like weird stuff. There's a bunch of weird. It like takes extra prizes. There's a control deck you can play with it. It's super bad. I mean, it's not that bad. It's bad. I'll put it in like the 60s, I guess. It's funny, but it's not good, quite frankly. It's pretty bad. We have also is Green VMAX. No, I don't think it's still in format. Next we have Grimmsnarl VMAX. This one's an energy ramp style darkness attacker, but one, it was capped. You couldn't one-shot stuff with it essentially, and two, it was like you couldn't really accelerate energy. It was pretty much like all downsides. So I'll put it in like the 60s. It's not terrible though. Its damage output was like all right, but I was always compared to Eternatus, and it's just so much worse. Then we got Gyarados VMAX. This one is weird. It's another one of those Arceus partners. I think it's better than the other two though, so I'll put it above Aggron and Charizard. Then we have Heatran VMAX. This is a weird one. I'm pretty sure it's still in standard. It works with Magma Basin. That's kind of its thing, but it's not very good. It's not terrible though. I guess it's going to end up in the 50s as well. I'll put it above Celebi. No, I'll put it below. I'll put it at the top of the 60s, and so that's 8 here. So I have 2 more to go. Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, really good VMAX. Going to the top 10, it's the ultimate water VMAX. Although it's ice, it literally has ice in the name. It's kind of funny, but it worked with Melanie, and it was just the like consistent VMAX that was well consistently all right throughout its whole time in standard. Really great off the bat and stayed pretty solid. Kind of like Giratina V-Star. I say it's worse. It was worse than Giratina V-Star. Giratina V-Star is still in format, hasn't rotated yet, but I think they're kind of similar in terms of like how they see play. They're just solid. Um, yeah. Then we come to Teleon VMAX, the not Rapid Strike one, and it's kind of like the other two spread VMAXs. It's better though. I'll put it in the 40s, I think. I'll put it actually at the top of the 40s. This saw some play. It was not great though. I played it way more than I should have, and it was just mediocre. It wouldn't work super well. Then we come to the Rapid Strike Italian VMAX. This one's going straight in the 20s, top of the 20s. A really solid VMAX with Urshifu VMAX, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, but also it was just so weak. It just did not do a lot of damage to the active, so your opponent could just have an attack and just run through you. But there are times when it was really great, but also it was kind of awkward, really vulnerable to disruption and stuff. But just a really solid partner for Urshifu. Jolteon VMAX, I think will go in the top 20. This is a VMAX I just really don't have a ton of experience with in terms of like how good it, like in terms of meta. It definitely saw meta play though. We'll put it between Scorch and Gengar here, but Jolteon VMAX, spread-based VMAX. Speaking of low damage, this does almost no damage and terrible against Trapjack Urshifu with VMAX because it would just get one-shotted for 1 energy, which is like you just couldn't win. But it was pretty good. I mean, it would be able to target the bench, and well, there was bench barrier in format a lot of the time. It was still pretty solid. You could kind of get around it, and it just was not. It was pretty solid for a while. Actually, it'll go below. No, it'll go above Gengar, I guess. Um, Maybe I should switch Inteleon and Gengar, but I don't know. We'll talk about that a little later with Mew VMAX because it was used to target that. But then we have Kangler VMAX. This card's so bad. I guess it's gonna go in the 70s. No, I could put it in the 60s. It's just a random water VMAX. I'll put it in the 60s. I'm gonna move Eevee. Yeah, I'll move Eevee down for now. QRM VMAX still in standard. It was actually pretty all right. It'll go in the tail end of the top 30s because it was like solid with Palkia V-Star. In its own right, though, it's bad. Like you need a lot of supporting pieces. It can still be played, I guess. So I'll put it above Colossal and Inglesian, but it's not that good. But for what it used to be, which was really solid. Lapras VMAX, I guess will go in the tail end, like near 40 here, because it was played early on. It was the first VMAX or the first set of VMAXs. I think Meowth VMAX was actually the first one, but it's where is oh here it is. So Lapras is it's like an energy ramp style attacker. It's kind of slow and kind of awkward and stuff, but it's not terrible. You can play it, and it was all right. Leafeon VMAX is going to end up in here, I guess, just right where I dragged it, as a top 20 VMAX because you could beat a lot of decks. It was just a solid VMAX. So there's the Inteleon era of VMAXs. We'd have Inteleon and then a VMAX that attacked for 2 energy for like 200 damage or something, and that was like every deck, and Leafeon was just one of the top options. It was really terrible against me VMAXs and didn't do any damage because it's based on retreat cost. As long as they had 1, it was fine. If they had 2, it was solid. If they had 3, it was great. But UVMAX had no retreat, right? So you wouldn't do any damage to them there are ways to do damage, but it was pretty rad. So Leafeon VMAX was like bad against that, but it was a pretty solid Pokemon in general. You could do learn Moltres V as well to do your best to beat Mew VMAX. That wasn't the best against Mew VMAX still, but like it's a pretty solid VMAX with Galar Mine, I should say, to boost damage. Like in Rock VMAX, It was paired with Archeops V-Star, and it was okay with that. I think it's actually better than these other ones, so I'll put it here near the tail end of the top 40, maybe in 50 here. Machamp VMAX, I've heard a lot of stuff about this, like way too much stuff about this VMAX. It's so mid. It's I don't know, it just does damage if you have like bench damage and stuff, but it's not that good. It's not terrible, I guess, but I'll put it here near 60. Next we got Malamar VMAX, another Arceus VMAX. This one I think is a little better than Lycanroc. I'll put it above Cinderace. I'll put it like in the middle of the 40s here. It's not a great female. Nah, it's the top. It's like near the top of the 40s, because it is pretty good against like as an Arceus option, but it's not a great card either. I wonder if I have not. I wonder if I haven't filled up enough of the top of the tier list, but we'll see. Next we got ourselves Millmetal VMAX. This one is like an edge. It's the same thing as Grimmsnarl. I think it's a little better. I don't know. It's pretty much the same though. And so that's a 9 here. Meowth VMAX is pretty terrible. There's a card we'll talk about, Togekiss VMAX. It's kind of like it, but it's worse. We'll go here. It's pretty bad. Metagross VMAX is a card I really loved. I want to put it like here, but I can't do that. It'll probably end up it'll probably go here. Let's be honest, it's not that good. Um, uh, yeah, that's fine. It's I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. It searches for cards, has this like building attack thing. It's weird. It's not a bad card. It's a funny card, one that I played a lot and is not that good. BV Max is gonna go. It'll go here. It'll go behind Eternatus VMAX. I'll put it at 3. I think it's where it's going to end up. Really solid. Saw there's a ton of play throughout its whole time in Standard, but it was mostly because of Genesect V. Genesect V carried this card like a lot, and so like completely essentially. But it was still really solid. I mean, you could copy. You essentially use this attacker as a 1 to 2 energy attacker that was or really a 1 energy attacker that had insane damage output and had a great engine. You didn't have a lot of versatility. Even less than a Eternatus VMAX, I guess. They're a little different, but it's still really solid. There's an era of a lot of VMAXs, but it really stood out as the best one. So it was really good, but yeah, it was a really solid VMAX. It had a lot of counters as well, which was kind of rough. Mimikyu VMAX. Oh, this was like a control card, but the big thing was the Mimikyu V. This one's not good. I guess I'll put it in. I'll put it in like near the tail end of the. Put it right above Machamp VMAX. That's fine. Morpeko VMAX is Wait, this is like some weird spread card. Honestly, it's just like the water spread VMAXs, but it's a little better, I guess. I'll put it between the two water spread VMAXs. Orbeetle VMAX, really fun grass VMAX. This one's probably the best, actually. Oh, wait, no. Well, okay, sorry. Leafeon VMAX is the best grass VMAX, but I said Dolmai's is really solid. Leafeon, in my opinion, is better and more fun. There were some fun things you could like do spread stuff with it, and yeah, it's just a really solid card. Also, I'll move Inteleon up now. Yeah, so this was just a really, really solid VMAX, spread based, energy based, solid, not great, really not like a competitive level VMAX, but it was all right for a grass VMAX. You could do stuff in its own right. Pikachu VMAX, that's also like Melmetal, and oh wait, no, that's different. I don't remember what it does to be honest, but it's all right, I guess. I think it's like here. It's yeah, I'll just put it here. I honestly don't remember it very well. Then we have Rapstrikers for VMAX. This, in my opinion, is the best VMAX. You had spread, great spread options, great options hitting into your opponent's active, which is really, really strong, or like solid attacking into your opponent's active options. But your spread options were great. You had healing options. You had so many options. I recently talked about this deck in the format 3 years ago. It was really solid back then. It was in a weird position with like the type triangle thing going on, but really, really solid card. Beat out Eternatus VMAX, lost to me VMAX, Dragon Ball VMAX, but you could just go ahead and destroy your opponent's bench. It was really good. It's like Greninja EX now, but it was better because he just had more support for it. Really, really, that's just how it was. Although Greninja EX is going to get more support with a new tool card, but then we have Rayquaza VMAX, a big flop, but not a terrible card. I'm actually going to put it in the top. No, it's going in the top 40. It'll go here above Orbeetle and Lapras and kind of Colossal VMAX and Rayquaza VMAX, they're both such massive flops. They'll go next to each other. That's fine. But do you like your VMAX? Honestly, a solid VMAX still in the format right now, and it's okay now. It's good with the lightning stuff. I'll put it actually here in the top of the uh, 20s. It's not bad. It was good support. The V was also nice. You can attack with the VMAX. It's a weird card, but it's solid. Villaboom VMAX. This card's not good. I'll put it in like here, near the top of the 70s. And the grass one is bad. I don't really remember this at all, but it'll go rounding out the 85, the 80s. So yeah, bad card. Salamence VMAX is a spread colorless VMAX, and it's okay. It'll go here in the 40s, I guess. Above where's it going? It'll go near the tail end, like right here. Sandaconda VMAX, kind of an interesting spread option. I realize I'm gonna have to move some stuff around though. Let's see, it'll go in the 50s, I think. Yeah, I'll put it right here, and let's see. I'm gonna move Alchemy up. I'm gonna move Duraludon. What do we have here? Let me just order all the stuff, and then I'll fix the tiers at the end. That's fine. This is our VMAX is an interesting one. I really don't remember this very well. I guess it's going to go in the 60s somewhere. I'll put it like right here between Hatterene and Greedent VMAX. Shadowfire Calyrex VMAX, really good. Like the best I can form at a time, but it's actually ended up behind Ice Red Calyrex VMAX, but still in the top 10. I mean, it was like the best I can format by a bit of a margin. There's a weird type triangle, as I said, with Urshifu, Eternatus, and Shadow Rider. To me, those are the big three of the type triangle. But yeah, really a solid card there. Single Strike Urshifu VMAX gonna go solidly in the top 20 here. Not a bad card, but a little limited. It was really solid. I mean, it could single strike, one shot everything, but it was awkward to set up, took a lot of resources and stuff. Snorlax VMAX, I don't really know too much about this card. It was also one of the first VMAXs. I guess it's worse than Lapras. Good and expanded, but it'll go right here, I guess. It's worse than Malamar and Inteleon and Corviknight. Stonjourner VMAX, it's very similar to Drake's Result VMAX. We just kind of leave it in the active, a bit more complicated, but about as good. I'll say it's a little. No, I'll say it's a little worse. Surfing Pikachu VMAX, actually an okay Arceus partner, I think. A little underrated. I don't think it's good, but it was a card, kind of a funny card. I mean, it's so much worse than Flying Pikachu VMAX, so I need to knock it down a little. Then we got Sylveon VMAX. This card is going to end up as top 30 VMAX, behind the rest of the behind probably most of the top 30 as a solid Rapid Strike option and like a Rapid Strike style box, potentially with Blaziken VMAX, with Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX and stuff. But it was okay, but certainly not a great card. Did more for each your type of bench Pokemon, so kind of cool there, but not like a great card either. Tapu Koko VMAX, it's another Arceus partner, kind of like Lycanroc VMAX, actually pretty similar in my opinion. Which I've lost. Oh, here it is. I'll put it right above it. Yeah, I'm gonna move Aegislash down some. This card's kind of bad. Then we got Togekiss VMAX. It searches for stuff. It's pretty fun. I'll put it here. I'll put it here. In the Where's it gonna go? I think this card was all right. I thought it was gonna be pretty solid, but I'll put it near the tail end of the top 40. Tornadus VMAX or Tornadus, I don't know how to say this. It'll go in the top 50. It's a fun little single strike VMAX. I think some people really like this VMAX, but it's not great. Yeah, Toxtricity VMAX is pretty bad to be honest. I guess it's here. It'll go in like the 60s, somewhere. Yeah, no, I'll put it in the 70s. I don't really know. It's just not very good. It doesn't really matter how you order these, to be honest, that much. Then we got ourselves Trevenant VMAX, which is super bad. It does more for each like supporter and your opponent's discard, but that's horrible because people don't play that many supporters. If it was items, it would be good, but it's not. So I'll put it here. Grass like VMAX weakness sitting with like Charizard. I don't even think they're in format together. Wait, were they? No, yeah, they must have been, but not a very good VMAX. Umbreon VMAX, this one was really good. Going to end up in the top 20 here. Is a great gusting option, great Arceus option, but not an amazing option overall. And then like as an attacking option with single strike, it was okay actually. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good either. Vaporeon VMAX, Vaporeon is a fun Pokemon, but it has like a weird attack, two weird attacks, but the one like puts water Pokemon into play, but it's okay, I guess. I'm gonna put it next to Togekiss here. Yeah, that's fine. Just a kind of weird Rap Strike one. A little, I think, underrated by most. Overrated by probably a few, but yeah, it was like an alternate attacking option in Rapid Strike. It didn't really fit with the vibes of Rapid Strike because it had really solid damage output. Not amazing, but solid. But yeah, it was okay. Venusaur VMAX. I mean, who's out here playing Venusaur VMAX? This card wasn't very good. It'll end up like somewhere around here, I guess. And then we got Victini VMAX, really solid VMAX. Is it top 10? No, it's kind of like Stonjourner and Dragapult, or sorry, Dracozolt, where you just play this is the only VMAX. It'll end up right here. It might be top 10. And then Zero Aura VMAX is, where is this going to go? It'll end up, um, it's an okay VMAX with Arceus right now, and still in the game. So I think this is probably the one that's most likely to see played down the line. I think, yeah, I don't think there are any fighting Pokemon that are super good. Fighting is pretty terrible right now, to be honest. And well, no, actually, no, there's Greninja, which sees play. I forgot about that one. So yeah, it'll be here next to. No, it's better than Pikachu. It'll be like here. Let's see. Let's fix this. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to put Umbreon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Let's fix all these tiers here and see if things look like they're in the right tiers. Because so far this looks all right. Kind of weird. Honestly, like VMAXs are, the good ones are really good. Yeah, this card can't be, okay, I need to adjust this a little because some of these cards just seem like they're way too high. But, it's just interesting to see them all on a list like this. I feel like I messed up somewhere. Oh wait, yeah, no, sorry, I need more cards here. So this goes like this. And we'll be done in just a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to watch me count. And probably count wrong. That's what you get to watch me do. I'll move. Let's see, Gardevoir. Let's see, Chandelure. Let's see. Mostly seems right. I think I'll actually move up. I'll move up the Toxtricity up. I think a few slots. I think it's okay. And then we can move. Some of these just feel weird. Tapu Koko VMAX I think is better than where I put it. I'm gonna actually move this into the top. I'll move it here, and I'll move Malamar up as well. I'm gonna move Lapras down. I don't know. I'll move Orbeal down, and I'll move I think this feels solid. Let's move this here. So there you go. You got my top. Oh, you can't see all this. We got my ranking of every VMAX. There we go. Some of this is kind of like you can certainly shift around, say like 5 to 10 spaces. But here's my top 10. You got my top 10 and all of them ranked. I'm gonna move this, switch this, switch. That's fine. There we go. You got my top 10, bottom 5, and everything in between. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously, it was a longer one, but I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.